Him talk. There's no sense in my telling you about him. We all know him, and he can give us the information that he wants to. Colonel?
Can I be heard all over without a microphone?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Let me give you a little, as far as a hero, I'm not. Sometimes when I've spoken at school, a student would say, were you in World War II? And I have to explain to them, when World War II started, I was 7 years old. So they didn't take too many 7-year-olds at that time. But
That's right,
I
just
appreciate the association with the great things that our Army, our military is going to have. Let me just give you a little background how I came to become your speaker tonight. I've given many speeches. I would say in the time since I've retired and was a snowbird, now I'm a full-time resident of Wellington, I've probably given about 200 talks. At the beginning, they mainly were talks relative to how we were attacked on 9/11. Then they became more specifically particular. And I've concentrated on a tribute to our troops and veterans, which to some extent would be appropriate for today, but that's really secondary. There's a group I belong to where I live up in Wellington, a men's club. In 1986, I addressed them. In 1987, also, both in November of those years, because November is Veterans Month and Veterans Day. When it came to this past year, I figured they heard me enough on that one topic, I would alter it a little bit. And there's been such a fuss over the last 12 months about the flag and people desecrating and insulting the flag. Instead of making my presentation a tribute to our troops and veterans this evening, I decided on a tribute to Old Glory. I discussed it with Ruth, the program chairman here, who agreed, but I explained to her that whereas that regular speech I give runs roughly 30, 35 minutes, this runs maybe 20 minutes, which you might be glad to hear. However, what I did with this men's group, I said, I'm going to fill in that last 10 minutes plus with some humor. And I literally have some gags. Now, I don't want to belittle a very serious, emotional, patriotic topic with gibberish. But I think after we talk about the flag, Old Glory, I will be trying to liven you up a little bit with some gags, which you may or may not appreciate. Old Glory, of course, everybody knows, is a pseudonym for the American flag. You might be interested in knowing that it was designed, and anybody know who designed it?
She sewed it, but she didn't design it.
Hopkinson, a congressman from New Jersey. Betsy Ross, of course, is alleged to have sewn the first such flag. Now, that flag was born June 14, 1777, by the Continental Congress, with these specifics. It would have 13 stripes alternately red and white. The red stood for haughtiness and readiness, the white for purity and innocence, and the blue for vigilance, perseverance, and justice. it was explained by members of this Congress that the 13 white stars on this blue background was to indicate that this was a new constellation in the world. The stars on this blue background represented a new constellation in the world. What do you mean, new constellation? Well, up until this time, Revolutionary War time, not only was there no United States of America, there was no country in the world like the United States of America. We became a republic. Remember, when you pledge allegiance to the flag, you say, and to the republic
That's right.
for which it stands. We are a republic, not a democracy.
Nope.
That's right.
We are a democratic republic, but we are basically a republican, a republic. The nickname Old Glory stems from a ship captain from Massachusetts, who, when this flag was put together, hung one 10 feet by 17 feet on his ship. His name was William Driver. That flag was not immediately accepted by everybody. Not that they didn't like it, but it was just the Continental Congress proclaimed this would be our flag in the future, and it was used on official buildings, official government offices. But the average day person didn't order one online, so to speak, and hang it in their front door. There was such a variation of flags at that time, representing different states, different regiments. You're probably familiar with such things as the one that says, "Don't tread on me."
Yep.
And they existed, and they could take. However, when Fort Sumter was attacked, that changed things, because the people were then motivated to unite around something. And that flag, that Old Glory, that Stars and Stripes, was what they rallied around. And of course, at that time, Francis Scott Key wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. I might jump ahead a little to point out these three names. Francis Hopkinson, who designed the flag. Francis Scott Key, who wrote the words, which was originally a poem to the then song, The Star-Spangled Banner. And Francis Bellamy. You know what Francis Bellamy did?
Wrote the music.
He wrote the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, right.
Coincidentally, three great Francis. You learned something tonight. Okay. Now, I don't know what the name Henry Ward Beecher means to many of you.
Sounds familiar.
He was an author, philosopher, and Henry Ward Beecher wrote a line that said, "When one looks at the flag of a nation, he or she sees not the flag, but rather what that flag represents and stands for." For example, you see a big white flag with a black swastika on it. You don't say, "Hey, what a geometric flag."
Yeah.
You look at it and you remember the inhumanity, the brutality, the ugliness that it represents. Likewise with ISIS, where they drag their flag through the Middle East. Now, we look at our flag and we say, what does this flag represent to us, to you and I? The words of Francis Scott Key tells the opening song, so to speak. At the rising of the dawn, our flag was still there. That's what caught the hearts of all the people. We think of Francis Scott Key, we think of the Star-Spangled Banner, we think of Fort Sumter. We might think, for another era, the Marines on Iwo Jima that raised our great flag. We might think back to World War II, when some of our doughboys, as we called them then, saved Western civilization by going into the trenches and suffering gas attacks on top of everything else. Moving forward to Bataan in World War II, we again saved the world. In Korea, the Marines that defended against and were saved from the Chosin Reservoir, and our troops who unfortunately in that era, when they came home, were called baby killers by the ignorant, came back from the rice paddy fights they had in Vietnam. This is what the flag meant to us over all these periods in our history. Today, likewise, our troops serving in Afghanistan, Iraq, when we see that flag, to us, it means we're going to take them down. The way we took down the Nazis, the fascists, the imperialist Japanese, the communists who were looking for world domination, the jihadists. Jihadism is the new threat and probably the most dangerous to our way of life because it's spread, it's not centralized in one or two or three nations. There are groups, Hezbollah, Hamas, Al-Qaeda, spread all over the globe, 60 different nations, but they all represent the same thing. Death to Americans, and we're going to wipe Israel off the map of the world. When we look at the American flag, when we look at Old Glory, these are the great things they represent to us. However, and unfortunately, there are those in this country too who don't see it that way. You see demonstrations, you see the flag being spit on, you see it being burned. What do these people have in mind? What does that represent to them? Whatever it is, they're wrong, and it's a sick way of viewing things. They see that flag not with the great love, patriotism, and pride that we do. They see that flag as a token of hate. They hate it so badly, they burn it in front of you. The idea being, when they burn it, they burn our ideals. Don't they realize that? When they burn it, they burn all concepts of justice. When they burn that flag, they burn the ideas of liberty and of freedom. And comprehensively, they burn hope. Hope not only for us, but for people all over the world. Because we represent all that is good. We are the power. If that power is lost, hope is lost for people all over the world. Old Glory. What they're doing in that case is they're aiding and abetting and giving comfort to all that is evil. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled that the burning of the American flag, Old Glory, is protected by freedom of speech. I may or may not agree with it, But that doesn't really have the impact that they thought it would have. For this reason, if we were allowed, or if we forbid, the Supreme Court had forbid the burning of the American flag, you would almost fall into the laps of these sick people. They would then go and burn that flag in front of anybody who has a camera to record their distaste for that flag. And even if they didn't do the flag, let's assume they said, all right, we can't do it, we won't do it, we don't want to get arrested. They pick some other token representing what our flag, what Old Glory represents now. They would spray paint the Statue of Liberty or burn pictures of the Statue of Liberty. They would burn pictures of your mother or their own mothers. There is such intense hate by these people for the greatest, freest nation in the world. It's beyond comprehension. And now, let me look at it from the veterans' point of view. The veterans, when they go into the military, take an oath to defend this nation, to defend the Constitution. More than that, you put on the uniform with a pride, whether you were a Continental soldier, Civil War soldier, a doughboy, a GI, World War II, up to the people today. Unspoken, when you put on the uniform, you say, where I stand with this uniform, so stands a haven of freedom for all those who seek its protection. They served under the flag. They salute it today as it passes by. And that flag will cover their coffins when they're buried. Yet, today they must watch while the ignorant burn that flag in front of them. So, fellow Americans, fellow Republicans, I say this about Old Glory. Fly it high, wave it proudly, and protect it forever. Because as goes that flag, so goes all of Western civilization. Thank you. Again, thank you. With all the love and appreciation I have for the flag, I say again, I'm going to throw a little humor into the pot. I in no way mean to take away from the seriousness of paying tribute to Old Glory. These are not jokes I made up. There are clippings that I've taken from various places, and maybe we can get a chuckle out of it. Ned says, I lost my job at the bank on the very first day. A guy asked me to check his balance, so I pushed him over.
Good.
Today, a man knocked on my door and asked for a small donation towards the local swimming pool. I gave him a glass of water.
All right.
A dad walks into a bookstore and says, can I have a book by Shakespeare? Of course, sir, says the employee. Which one? This is William. William Shakespeare. Okay. I wanted you to know I was raised as an only child, and my sister never liked it.
Best one yet.
And I have two watchdogs. We named them Timex and Rolex. Give me a couple, because I want to close with a couple here. Well, this is more a little philosophy than a joke. The best thing about the good old days is we weren't good and we weren't old. And this guy says, I like to hold hands when I go to the movies. He says sometimes, though, it really disappoints the guy sitting next to him.
Oh, boy.
My neighbor knocked on my door at 2:30 this morning. Would you believe it? 2:30 a.m. Lucky for him, I was still up playing my bagpipes. A sick husband in a hospital tells his wife sitting at his bedside, when I'm gone, dear, the gifts in my closet are for you. To which she responded, when you're gone, everything in your closet is for me. There were two groups of volleyball players, female teams, a blonde team and a brunette team, riding in a double-decker bus. Blonde team was up above, the brunettes were below, and as they went along, the brunettes were very jovial and joking and singing and looking forward to the next stop and the next game, but they noticed not a sound coming from the blondes upstairs. So a couple of them walked up the staircase up there, and there are these blondes from this volleyball team holding on to the railing, and they look terrified. He said, what's the matter? We're happy downstairs, we're singing, we're having a good time. And one of them said, yeah, but you want to draw you down there.
Oh boy. Ba-boom, ba-boom.
A hitchhiker picked up a person coming a ride. When they're going along, and not the hitchhiker, picks up a hitchhiker, and the hitchhiker says to the driver, doesn't it really concern you? For all you know, I could be a serial killer? He said, not a chance that there'd be two serial killers in the same car.
Oh.
Guy has a farm, and it has a remote area in the back where he has a pond and some fruit trees. He takes a fruit basket and he goes to the back edge of his property, and surprisingly, because it's normally dead quiet there, he hears some giggling. As he gets close, he sees there is 3 or 4 young, attractive women swimming without bathing suits. As he approaches, they see him, and they all scuttle behind the grass and hide themselves. They say, get out of here. Stop looking at us. Go away. Now, it's his property. He says, look, don't misunderstand. I'm not here to peek on you. I'm not here to chase you out so I can watch you run naked. I'm just here to feed the alligator.
That's probably the best one.
We'll make this. A cop is called when shots are being fired in a particular house. He goes to that house and he finds a very old lady standing with an AK-47 rifle and a man laying dead right in front of her. Obviously, she had shot her. So the cop calls his precinct. Sergeant answers, and he says, Sarge, I got a situation here. This woman, very elderly, but she admits that she shot her husband who's laying at her feet. He says, well, why did she shoot him? She said she had just mopped the floor, and he trudged her right over where she mopped. He said, Well, did you arrest her? He said, no. He said, why? She says, because the floor's still wet. Thank you for listening.
Bum, bum, bum.
Thank you, Bill. We always enjoy when you stop by and talk. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
We usually have